Yes, hello and welcome to the inaugural edition of Edible Soil Press's Poetry Puddlecast. We are, dare I say, officially in soil. Yes, into the fecund dirt we will go, to birth or give sustenance to some of life's primary rhythms, melodies, and yes, even those first newborn screams. Deliciously daring, I know. I'm your inimitable host, Rupert Digger Battersby Stork, and I'm so glad you could join us for this adventurous journey into the wondrous muck and mayhem, the vital pluck and promise of poetry. For our first special show, we have a very special guest. We've, as it were, dug very deep for this in bringing back from the dead none other than that poetic thespian himself, James Mason. Now, Jimmy, it's an absolute delight and pleasure to have you back. Welcome, and may I say, you're looking spectacular, darling.
The pleasure, Rupert, is all mine, truly. As you know, I've travelled all the way from the centre of Dante's hell, not with my sweet Lolita, but with pathetic Pat Boone, and you have had the grace and the charm not to ridicule me. Thank you, my dear friend.
Oh, brilliant. Yes, I see. Well, that's super, just super, Jimmy. Now, as you know, the In-Soil Poetry Puddlecast is designed to focus primarily on a recitation of a poem of great import and wit, and of course be of formidable significance to the illustrious guest of each episode. So I'm incredibly excited to hear what you've chosen for us on this auspicious inauguration of In Soil.
Thank you, Rupert. Quite frankly, it's an honour just to be above ground.
Oh, yes, indubitably. Yes, I see. Quite.
The poem, Rupert, which has so deeply influenced me here and in the great beyond, is one of divine simplicity in its metre, actually being syllable-timed with an entrancing 3, 3, 2, 2, 3 signature, which only serves caustically to reinforce the existential cardiac beat, the temporal pendulum, as it were, under which the mortal must inevitably suffer. The haunting assonance of its middle lines and the godly stop consonants repeated in each verse provide a kind of unrelenting choir, we should say, a choir enfeebled by spiritual thirst and physical emaciation and rendered, one might imagine, by the great master himself, Giacometti. The rhyme pattern leaves all the cupboards in the pantry bare. starkly drumming home the remorseless weight of our earthly poverty, the central image of the ravenous rodent eating its way into our hopelessly human hearts, the incessant climbing into an unfamiliar future, almost Sisyphean in its struggle to match or overcome time's oppression, cannot be understated.
Oh, I see.
If you'll allow me, Rupert, a poetic masterpiece, certainly from my time, your time, and perhaps all time. Now, if I may.
Yes, please do. Very curious indeed.
Splendid, Rupert, splendid.
Ladies and gentlemen, on In Soil, James Mason reading a poem for all time.
Hickory, dickory, dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one. The mouse ran down. Hickory, dickory, dock. Hickory, dickory, dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck two. The mouse went boo. Hickory, dickory, dock. Hickory, dickory.
James Mason, everyone. James Mason's spectacular, poignant, inspirational.
But Rupert, I haven't finished. So many more important numbers to go through. The striking of the clock, my friend, it strikes for all of us. The no more of 4 o'clock, when we're all in the desperate dock, and the dark, Rupert, and its sinking teeth.
Right. So true. What a poetic pleasure it's been. Ladies and gentlemen, James Mason, what a treat to have you for the first episode of Edible Soil Press's Poetry Puddlecast, the Puddlecast where we dive deep in soil. I'm Rupert Digger Battersby Stork. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for our next episode at In Soil, and remember always, pursue the poetry of life.
Hickory, dickory, dock. The mouse ran.
Jimmy, lights out, please.